Good morning, good morning, good morning. Everybody come on in. Guess what? It is time for the Own Your Now show, and it is Freedom Friday, and I'm so excited about it. I am your host, Tracie B, also known as Divine T.
And I am your co-host, Yolanda Langford, and you know what they call me, Lady Yo.
Lady Yo, what's happening? It's Freedom Friday.
It is Freedom Friday, Tracie, and it's so funny because I just told someone, I said, I know it's Friday and I have to work tomorrow, which is Saturday, but I still like hearing it's Friday.
Yes, it is. And you know what? The good thing that I love about it all the time is, it's a good time for us to celebrate because it's not just Friday. You know what comes after Friday, right?
I know what comes after Friday. I know you're going to tell us what comes after Friday, too.
Yeah, right.
You know what comes after Friday.
It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday.
I don't even know why he's not moving today.
Oh, there he goes. He wasn't moving, but we know he built up that car. There you go.
It's Friday, then it's Saturday, Sunday. It's an amazing weekend. It's Freedom Friday. We are literally celebrating Juneteenth weekend, and it's a whole lot going on in the Louvre, and it's a lot going on all over the world. Some people are literally off work today because Juneteenth, today we're celebrating the first official federal holiday. What's up with that?
That is fantastic. And on top of that, we're celebrating Father's Day.
Yes, we have been celebrating Father's the entire week, and that's what makes this week so special. And you know what? We're going to definitely celebrate it today as well, y'all. When I tell you all, we have some great guests in the house. We have the Rance John. Y'all know we got our classic man in the house. And we have James Tatum in the house. If you want to need some financial advice, this is the thing. It's Freedom Friday. It's all about financial literacy. Not only that, we have a number one first in history. We actually have Chief Bird in the house, y'all. We got people from all over the world. And then we have artist William Burton.
Yes.
Jr., all over the world. You all better share right now. But you know what? We got to ask that magic question. What's in your cup? Lady, what's in your cup? What you sipping on?
I'm back to drinking that youth berry, and I have 2 chips of peppermint and a little squeeze of lemon. And you see my cup girl says, "Hey there, pretty lady." That's for you.
All right, now we're back at you, pretty lady.
Thank you.
I'm buying tea and I'm sipping on some tea. I'm not advertising, but this sweet tea is everything. And I'm in California, y'all, and it's hotter than that thing. So I'm just trying to stay refreshed. I'm gonna keep drinking water, and I'm gonna make sure that I get my intake in. But right now I'm sipping on some tea. I see that Bernie says she don't have nothing in her cup today. She's getting some dental work done. Oh. But Margaret says she has water in her cup. So what all do you all have in your cups? We can't wrap up today with making sure that we keep shouting out all fathers, brothers, anybody that's been an influence in your life, a mentor. Please put them in the chat so we can pop them up. Good morning, Shameem. Yes, it's Friday. We're so excited about it. Danita's with us. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Chiquita. But look, Lady O.
Yes.
We talk about what's in your cup. But, we talk about the birthday celebrations and the vibrant vibes, and we cannot continue to move forward without them. Who are we celebrating today?
Well, we are celebrating Makiba Richardson's daughter, Patricia. She is having a birthday today, and she just wanted to say happy birthday, baby girl. And Sheila Martin wanted to say happy birthday, happy 30th birthday to her son, Jared Martin. We also have Dan Douglas, Gary Boyd. Now, you know who Gary Boyd is. He is with the crown.
Your people. Them your peoples. Them your peoples. I don't care if you have the same list or not. Them your peoples.
Them your peoples. Them your peoples. AKA Gary Boyd is having a birthday. Valita Keys and her twin sister Vanessa are having a birthday today. You know, they are champions of women and breast cancer and getting the word out about breast cancer. But more than that, they also have a foundation that provides recliners for the women when they come home. So that is so special. Happy birthday, twins. We have Dee Coleman, Drusilla Harris, Gary Connors, Will Montgomery. Hey, Will, happy birthday. Jason Alexander. Now, St. Louis knows Jason Alexander as Flirt. Flirt. He can sing, honey. He sings throughout. Well, you know, he's even sang at the White House. He's even sang at the White House for yeah. Oh gosh, he is an awesome singer. So happy birthday, Jason, aka Flirt. We also have a birthday going out to Jimmy Allen. Do you know who Jimmy Allen is?
Oh, I don't.
It's okay if you don't. He's a new country singer, African-American country singer. Now, you know I have some vibrant vibes, so I have one today because this man I'm about to tell you about, I'm so very proud of him. Dwayne D.T. Tolan has opened up his first Boys to Mentors facility.
Yes. Congratulations, DT. You know, we need every community facility that empowers our young men and our young girls in the community. And so that's a balance. We need that. Make sure that we get him on so we can talk more about that, because we got to make sure we support our community. That's what you is, supporting our community.
Yes, I'm so proud of him because he's really been working hard. Before he got the brick and mortar, he was just out there making sure young men were getting some just life skills. And he did some work with Home Depot. He's done some work with some other companies that just give kids life skills. Also, you know, just in case they're watching, happy birthday, Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton, country. You know what? He is all that. He's all that when it comes to country, as well as he's on The Voice all the time. And I think who is he dating right now? Like I said, right now. But
Gwen Stefani? Is it Gwen Stefani?
Yeah.
I think they're engaged. Well, you know, it's his birthday, so I know he'll be celebrating because he always has something in his cup. And normally it's a red cup. So I know he'll be celebrating. That's his business, as Tabitha Brown says, and that's your business. We also want to say happy birthday, Paul McCartney.
Now, you know what? I have always been a fan of the Beatles, but I always like the song that he did with Michael Jackson. You know, that's the one that it sticks out for me. So happy birthday, Paul.
Well, you know, I cannot go without saying I feel like he's Ozzy and our nephew. He's our nephew. Happy birthday, Nate Morris from Boys to Men.
Girl, that's everybody's nephew, cousin, and everything. Boys to Men. We all say that they're our cousins and our nephew. I love me some Boys to Men. I remember the first time that they've been around forever. So if you've ever met them, they're really good brothers. I gotta ask that question, y'all. What is your favorite Boys to Men song? What's your favorite Boys to Men song, Lady O?
I'll Make Love to You.
Oh, I Make Love to You. You know what? That's the one that you got to just, I wonder how many people made babies off of that one. I don't know. It is Father's Weekend. So, hey, you can make some more. They can make some more. I think that my favorite one is East Coast Swing. East Coast Swing. You know, that's the one where they just, you know, go look. They have that little, my husband, is it like an East Coast? We're going to have to ask one of the our guests that comes up. What do they call it? It's some kind of like swing thing that they call on the East Coast. It's called East Coast Swing.
I guess so. Well, we're going to go with that. You know, I am with you. Boys to Men, they have been making music for years, not just music, but music that can stand the test of time. So every time I hear they're in town, honey, I've even flown out of town to see them. So happy birthday, Nate Morris. Keep making that beautiful music.
So Raven says her favorite one is It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. I think that is the one that most people know them from. And I agree. That's a good one. It really is. Thanks for that one. Bernice says the song that her mom was just listening to this morning, also on Bended Knee. Remember that one? That's a good one as well. So all of those are good songs. So you know what? Shout out to Nathan Morris. Happy birthday. How old is he?
I'm not quite sure, but one of our owners will go in the chat and tell us, I'm sure.
I know he was born. Look, one thing we know for sure, because don't play with them Geminis. He is definitely a Gemini. So make sure that we find out, because Geminis don't play. They really don't.
The funniest thing is they all have kids now. So, and I think it's Wanye, his sons, I think there are 3 of them, they sing. And so the voice is, and we talked about this earlier, how some things are in your DNA.
It is in your DNA. Well, I know one thing that's not in my DNA. It's not singing. I can sing, but I cannot sing. And that's just what it is. It just is. Our affirmation word for today is freedom. It is Freedom Friday. You know how I feel about freedom, financial literacy, mental, physical, spiritual. The other thing that's so great is that, and I don't know why it has taken us so long for this to become a federal national holiday, but we're celebrating. I'm excited to be here in California. If you go to our page on the OYN Now show, hopefully you all are following and subscribing. But all of the Juneteenth celebration that's in our area is on the page as well. We have to make sure that we celebrate each other. And you know how I feel about that. That's important, that you celebrate each other. But the other thing that's part of freedom is that you got to find out a way to make sure that you be your best self and you celebrate yourself. That's how we get down here on the OYN Now show. We make sure that we take care of ourselves by celebrating ourselves and being our best selves. So let's take some time to embrace our song of the day, which is Best Self by Lady Bree. Everybody take some deep breaths in and take some deep breaths out. You ready, Lady O?
Yes, ma'am.
Show it off, every curve, every part, yeah. 'Cause I'm strong and I love the skin I'm in. Every shape, every inch, no doubt there's power deep within, yeah. Beauty in a color,
ready? Do you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna start with our left arm. Let's go.
I'ma be my best self. I'm loving who I be. I'ma be my best self. There's no one else like me.
Right arm.
Self-help, self-care. Self-help, self-work, self-aware. My best self.
Are y'all celebrating with us? Did you put best self in the chat?
I'ma be my best self. I'ma be my best self.
I am enough. Center yourself.
Confident, no limit, owning it. Look in the mirror and all I see is love. Take it one step at a time.
Reach out to a friend.
Yeah. Beauty in a whistle and a smile in our face. Beauty's holding my head up with grace. I thank God for the way I made it.
That's right.
Whoa.
Hey, Dawn. Melissa's in. Eliani's in. Gina's rocking to it. Shameem. There's no one else but me. That is a whole vibe. You said it right, Margaret. It is so important that we celebrate our best selves. That's all we got. That's all we got. That's what we have as a community. We have to show up and be our best selves. And I definitely hope that that's something that we do this weekend. We show up for all the different vendors. You know what I suggest you do? I suggest you just hit different places all throughout the day. Create a list and say, where am I going to go? And make sure that I take care of my community. Yes. Stop, get a vendor, support a vendor. Lady Yo, you're going to be in the streets this weekend as well, right? Tell everybody.
I am. Well, if you want to see Lady Yo and come up and say hi, I will be celebrating Juneteenth in Ferguson. And you know what? Little Birdie told me that 20 businesses, Black-owned businesses, opened up in Ferguson during the pandemic. That's what I am going to celebrate. And I know for sure we'll be cutting at least 8 grand opening ribbons.
Wow. That's the bomb right there. And you know what? It's so necessary that we continue to support our communities. You know, y'all, we keep talking about how important it is for you all to follow us, like, and subscribe, because this is what we're here to do. We're here to uplift our community, and we're not going to stop. We have so much coming forth. But you know what? Today is about the Father's Day weekend. We like Father's Day weekend Eve, celebrating every single day. We keep telling you all, please put your fathers, your husbands, your uncles, whoever it is that's been an influence in your life My son wrote this book about mentors, and one of the things that he talked about is the value of the barbershop and how barbers have been mentors in his life. We have someone coming up, right? And I know he's probably making some cuts happen right now. Who do we have coming up right now, Lady O?
Hey, we have the Rance John. He is the creator of The Classic Man. And the funniest thing is when I reached out to him this morning, he is at work, but he wanted to make sure he came on and talk about his 30 years plus experience in the barber business and also about being a dad. Good morning, Rance. Good morning.
Good morning.
Woo! That's the classic man himself. Good morning. How you feeling this morning?
I feel blessed. I'm good. How you guys doing?
We are fabulous. Anytime we get to see you, we're fabulous because you are the classic man. We're going to talk about that, but before we get started, what gets you started? What do you normally have in your cup?
Water.
So
make sure I drink some water every morning.
That's fabulous.
It's something about the things that you do when it comes to the barbershop. So many great relationships are started there and continued. You've been in this business for a minute now. Talk to us about what made you say yes to being an entrepreneur.
I think it was just in my DNA. It was I come from a long line of family members that are business owners themselves. So I gathered some inspiration from those individuals as well as some guys in the community. And I just felt like this was my calling to go into business for myself. So it was just something I always wanted to do. Jumped into it.
Now you have The Classic Man products. If anyone's out there looking for a Father's Day gift, you need to get in contact with Rance. Talk to us how you came up with the term The Classic Man and what do you offer?
Okay, well, how I came up with the term was it was actually a friend of mine. We were discussing it, and I worked for a company, Design Essentials, and I knew that I wanted to create my own product. That was a product line that's more so catered to women. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to create something for the guys. And I just started working with a few different products. I started putting some things together in my kitchen and expanded. And my business partner and I, we joined forces. And here we go. We have the Classic Man. But the Classic Man, the grooming line is an all-male grooming line. Our products are more so for the beard. We do have a few maintenance products as well as shampoos. And so we're venturing and we're growing our business. If you go on our website, which is www.tcmlifestyle.com, you'll see all the products that we have. So we have maintenance products, shaving products, as well as skincare.
We want to definitely talk about you being a dad, but we want to also jump in and talk about the conversations of when young men come and sit in your chair. How is it important? We asked a couple of the guys earlier this week, the conversation of what you would tell your younger self. What type of things do you impart to those young men when they're sitting in your chair? Can you hear us?
I think he's frozen.
I don't know for sure, but one of the things that we also talked about, Lady O, is when Rance is in the community, he does a lot of community work. Not only does he have the line of, but he also has a grooming academy as well. Yes. And hopefully we can get him back. Let's pop him out and bring him back up later. But he has that line. Maybe he'll come back in on the live stream, y'all. But it's all good. So, there we go. He don't play. He pops in and out, and we're gonna make sure we make that happen. But he also has a grooming academy that he spotlights as well. And I want to make sure that you all are aware of all the things that he has. Lady O, how long have you known Rance?
Oh my goodness. I've known Rance about 18 or 19 years. And the first time I met him, he was actually giving back to the community. So, that always gets my heart when I see people giving back to the community. And he also goes into the high schools and provides some free haircuts. So not only just the community at large, but he also mentors our young men.
Well, one thing for sure, hopefully we'll be able to get him back up and talk about some of the things that he's doing right now and the value of him being a girl dad. So definitely we'll pop him back in. And look, y'all, we don't play when it comes to our men. We know that they have a message that they need to get out there, and we're going to make sure we get him back up. Look, Terry, one of our owners in the chat, she says Rance has cut her baby's hair several times. You know, I remember, if y'all want to shout out y'all barbershops, that's important. Robert says the barbershop is a black man's own country club.
All right.
You know, but we're going to keep it going. We'll go back to Rance. He's going to be in his shop all day, so definitely we'll be able to get him back on. Let's talk about our next guest, Lady O. Oh, wait. We're going to get him back up, y'all. Promise. We promise you all. Play. Lady O, who do we have coming up next?
Our next guest is the one and only first Chief of Police in DeKalb County, Mr. David Byrd. He's our first, I believe, African-American chief. He is also a 31-year law enforcement professional. He retired from the Illinois State Police in April of 2021. As I said, he is currently the chief of DeKalb County. He was born in the south side of Chicago. He attended the Grambling State University, and he is a member of Gamma Psi Omegas. Omega, he's an Omega man. So, you know, they always say about the Gamma, it was so nice you had to name it twice. Bring him on up so we could talk to Chief of Police David Byrd. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Yolanda and Tracy, thank you for having me on. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for saying yes to us. You know, it's an honor. Number one, the fact that it is Freedom Friday is the weekend of Juneteenth, and we literally are able to be graced with DeKalb's police chief, the first in over 130. What is it? 133 years. What's that history background?
So it's DeKalb City, and it's it's been 135 years. I'm the first African American police chief they've ever had. So
that is awesome. You see this smile on my face because I am so proud of him. You know, first let me ask, because our owners hold us accountable. What's in your cup? What gets you started, David?
Hey, I'm like Tracy. I'm with you, girl.
That's right. That's it.
You can't beat it. It starts my morning every day. So,
well, you know what? I see this picture. I see this picture in your background, and I know the history of that picture. That is you. Yeah. And you have your pin, your sheriff pin. You were predicting the future. How old were you on that picture, and when did you decide you wanted to be in law enforcement?
So I was approximately 5 years old. And my mom took me to take some pictures. You know, she bought this nice little outfit, but I always wore that badge, so I stuck that badge on. And I'm sure she wasn't happy about that because it definitely took away from her this unbelievable outfit she bought. And then here I go sticking this badge I got out of a Cracker Jack box on it, and she was not happy, but she allowed me to take the picture because I'm pretty sure I cried probably every time they tried to take it off. So,
well, you look happy on the picture. When did you decide you wanted to be in law enforcement? What was that turning point for you?
I know this is going to sound crazy, but I tell you, this picture is why I have this picture in here, because it reminds me of it imprinted on me probably that far back. You know, I was very into police shows when I was younger. I mean, I was born in 67, so I grew up in the 70s, and, you know, and I watched all the police shows they had on at the time. And I would run in to watch, The Rookies, which was a big show back then, SWAT, Adam 12, all the police shows, you name it, Beretta. I could go on for days. That's what started it for me, though. It imprinted on me very young, and that's why I'm still in it, because I think it's important that we, of course, have, Black law enforcement officers as well as executives in the field. It's important that we have a seat at the table.
I think that when you see that picture in the background, and it's all about sowing seeds and how you can get that mentality of this is. I remember Officer Friendly coming in and the coloring books and things like that. And of course, the coloring books when I was growing up, and I was born in 1967 as well, the coloring books didn't have that cultural representation that was necessary. Shout out to my son-in-law. Lonnie Benson is a police officer for St. Louis County. And I remember him when he saw Ron Jackson, and he said, I need what my community needs to see. Tell us why important it is for us to see service in our community from our own.
Yeah, I mean, this is what, I've always felt that it's important that we are represented. I always imagine if we weren't. I always think about that. What if we weren't represented in law enforcement? What would it be like for us? And I think it would be extremely hard. So I believe that all races should be represented. I just had a conversation the other day, just here in the department, and basically my overall thought process and my posture going forward is that when I go into a roll call room, I want to see a picture of humanity. That's what I want to see. I want to see everyone represented. It doesn't, we're talking every race, every gender, every sexual orientation. I want everyone represented in that roll call room when I walk in there. And that's the way we have to go forward. At the end of the day, are we ever going to be segregated again? That's probably never going to happen again. So we're going to have to learn to get along with each other. So that's why it's so important that we have a seat at the table. And that's why I'm still doing it. I could have retired in 2017 and left this, and I've already had a fantastic career. I could have left it behind, but I still know that it's important that I stay in it for those reasons, that we are represented at the table. And I'm just, it's been an amazing career with the Illinois State Police. And now I'm starting over new with the city of DeKalb being their first African-American chief. And believe me, I don't take that for granted. And I just enjoy every day. And I'm just going to make change here. This is all about making change and doing things the correct way in law enforcement. And I'm going to be a beacon for that going forward.
I love it. I cannot go without asking the question because, we attended the Grambling State University. Talk to me about what Grambling meant to you.
So, oh my God. So I thought about, when I think back in high school, the majority of my friends stayed, in the Illinois, in the Midwest region for college. And I always felt like, I said, you know what, I need to, to stretch myself a little bit and expand my horizons, or whatever you want to call it. And I ended up in Louisiana, all the way from the south side of Chicago. I still remember my mom, put me on a bus at 95th and the Dan Ryan Expressway on a Greyhound. And we didn't have cell phones then. So she's like, hey, son, call me collect. And when you get halfway or whatever. So, I called her collect and she answered, of course. And but this was the first time I'd ever been away from the city of Chicago on my own like that. It was a really eye-opening experience. I grew up pretty dang on fast. I can tell you that much. I grew up fast. But I met some of the most amazing people at Grambling State University. And speaking of amazing, I got Yolanda. You're an amazing woman, and I met you there. And I think about all the other great people I met at Grambling State University. I think about me pledging Omega Psi Phi there, the Gamma Gamma chapter of Omega Psi Phi at Grambling State University. I met some of the most amazing men I could ever dream about meeting at Grambling as well. And it was one of the most amazing experiences I could ever have. It put me, I just learned so much there. I really did. And I learned, we laugh about this. We used to do this trick where we would drive down one of the old roads over there in Grambling, and we would wave, and we would always count to see how many people would wave back, and they didn't know. And everyone would wave. It was crazy. I was like, I can't believe because in Chicago, if you did that, I mean, believe me, the response would be totally different because
it's so interesting you say that. Me and my husband were talking about the different communities where you see people who wave, people who speak, and people who don't. Now, it sounds like you broke a cycle when it comes to going off to college and sowing seeds of what it looks like and how important HBCUs are and education. You have children. Talk to us about how that influenced your children when it comes to your educational process.
Wow. So, I mean, those are my precious gems. I mean, what can I say? I was so blessed to have, 3 amazing children, and I love them like no other. I love them more than I love myself. I tell them that all the time. And so, Alexis and Darius and Donovan are their names. And then, I just have to say this because sometimes, a lot of things come into your life that you never expect. Like, if you wrote a book, sometimes you feel like you can close the chapter of it like right now, and that would probably be a good stopping point because what the rest of your life's probably going to look like. So I found that not to be true. I'm divorced, but I did meet an amazing woman, and she brought 3 beautiful additional children into my life. And it's amazing how you think your life is over at a certain point as far as writing chapters. And then I had to write a new chapter, and her name is Jamie Garcia. Jamie had brought in 3 beautiful children along with my 3 that I already had. And I couldn't be more happy about that. So believe me, my cup runneth over when it comes to the children. So, but to get back to your point, I do everything I can for all of them. I will give everything I do. I'll be honest with you. Everything I do to this point is for them. Every sacrifice I ever made has been for them. To the day, people, even when it comes to, buying new shoes, I go years without getting new sneakers, believe me. But my youngest boy, Lil D, Donovan, he gets new shoes all the time.
Them shoes cost, boy. They sure do.
They cost. And I haven't I'm like, when's the last time I got a new pair of shoes? So I mean, fatherhood is probably the most important thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, I grew up without a father. I never knew my dad. And I think my mom is probably on it watching. I think she was able to get on. But, I remember getting my birth certificate and reading it, and I only saw her name. So there's no, when you look in the section where it says father, there's no one there. And now, although, like I said, don't get me wrong, it's never been a crutch. I didn't miss out on anything. My mother is an amazing woman. She raised me like no other. You always hear, well, it takes a man to raise a man. And, you hear those, and I would tell you, I would challenge that to this day. I'll challenge anyone to that because my mother did an amazing job. Now, did I live vicariously through some of my best friends' dads? Of course I did. They taught me how to tie ties. There were certain things that my mom probably could not teach me that I learned through my associations with especially 2 of my best friends. One of them just passed a couple of years ago. We're still, of course, absorbing his death. Dewan Pleasant, Yolanda, Dewan. He's and Oren James. Those 2 are like, I mean, we couldn't be closer to being brothers without having the same blood. That's the only difference in our brotherhood is just we just didn't share the same blood. But I lived vicariously through their fathers. They taught me a lot. And even be honest with you, I learned so much from my peers. Dewan taught me how to drive a manual stick shift, a 5-speed vehicle. He taught me how to drive. I learned from my peers. My best friend taught me that. And so it's amazing where you can get knowledge from. And that's what I did.
Right. I like that you said that we can really get knowledge from not just other, I like it just men in the community. It doesn't have to be another father. It can also be your peers. And this is what community looks like. I know we could literally have you on by yourself. I mean, gosh, you know, we said we're going to have an extended show today. We have 3 other amazing guests. But,
Yes.
you know, I do want to ask you this question before we ask your affirmation word of the day, or you might even want to tie it in. How is it that we can allow our children to be comfortable with officers? Like, what can our community do to embrace our officers? Because I think that's so important that we bring that back.
Yeah, and I agree. And that's why it's important that when we talk about, like in DeKalb, in the city of DeKalb, we have a belonging campaign that we started. And we have a belonging board that we just started here. It's called, if you ever get a chance, you can look it up. It's belongingdecalb.com if you ever get opportunity. But basically, it's exactly what you're going to, is that everyone belongs here. You're a part of us. You're welcome here. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, you're welcome. And I think the more that, that law enforcement has more people that look like everyone else, there are more Black officers. It will help, of course, bring our culture back into the frame of the old time. Hey, officer friendly, not being afraid of police. I hate the fact that our people are afraid of the police. It shouldn't have never gotten to this point. But I'm doing everything I can to reverse that whole flow. So anything and everything that I can do on my end, and I know I'm not the only one. There are other Black law enforcement officials throughout the country, and not just Black. There are also, white law enforcement officials, Latino law enforcement officials that are doing the same thing. We're all fighting the same goal, is to reverse everything that's been bad in law enforcement and get it back and get it straight. This is not 1963. This is 2021. We got to do a whole lot better in law enforcement. And a lot of responsibility falls on this uniform. And we're going to do everything we can to mend those bridges so they won't be afraid. So you won't have to have that conversation with your sons, which I've had that same conversations. I've been in law enforcement my whole life. I've also talked to them about interacting with police, because there is a certain way that, it needs to be done. I tell my boys all the time at night, if you get pulled over at night, you turn on that dome light, you light up that car, that interior car, like it's never been lit up before. That way it takes a lot of guesswork out of it for the police officers. They can see in the vehicles. You have that driver's license, that insurance card ready and available over that visor, so you don't have to reach in the glove box. Everything is right there, accessible. So you don't have these situations that may or may not pop up where, officers feel threatened for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. So there's some things we just have to do going forward, and a lot of it is, we live in a dangerous world too. I mean, let's be honest. There are predators all over this world, and all of them. And let me tell you, some of it, they wear all different shades of color.
Yeah,
right now, and these predators will destroy us if we don't do everything in our power to protect each other. So they're only here to cause havoc, and we have to be able to defend everyone equally. So that's the overall goal. So.
Well, he gave that's a huge tip. Yeah. To make sure. I didn't even think about the whole. I've never heard, and I haven't been in a lot of meetings that are exclusively for young men. But in today's society, this is good tips for men and women. Absolutely. To light up the inside of that car as much as possible. We've got to have you back on. We really do.
I would love the opportunity. I love you guys. This is an amazing platform. Thanks. Yolanda, me and her. So anything you ever need from me, whenever you're in Chicago, you let us know, and we'll bring all the cues out, and they'll take you out. You won't have to pay for a thing.
Oh, listen to that. One thing is he's a police officer, and he's also a member of Omega Psi Phi, and those two organizations always are so supportive. Before we let you go and you get back out there protecting Chicago, tell us your affirmation word.
Well, it's always integrity for me. That's just the biggest thing in my mind. I tell my kids, I teach my kids about the integrity of, and then of course in law enforcement, integrity is the key. And, I think that's what we have to make sure that we have that inside us. I make sure that any officer that wears DPD blue going forward, integrity is going to be their number one, focus. It should be embedded into them. And I think that'll change a lot of things for us going forward. So you got to have integrity. You have to have it.
Integrity. Well, we thank you. Definitely we'll have you back on again. Be safe and happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Thank you.
Wow. That's what it's all about. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. You hear that, Lady O?
Yes. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And, I'm just so happy we took the time to highlight fathers the entire week. Normally Mother's Day gets a lot of highlight, but I think we are going to set a trend, Tracie.
Yes, we are. We're going to keep it rolling. And we want you all to listen, y'all, because we're doing this. I hope that you all are sharing with everyone. Share with somebody right now. Share it on your page right now, because, in the midst of this, we also have every Friday a financial analysis. We have a financial advisor on today, Mr. James Tatum. He is the financial professional who focuses on missions to help and assist women, those who are taking control of their finances for the first time as they start new businesses, new careers, directly out of college, or regaining control of their finances after a life-changing event, such as retirement or a loss of a spouse. James, along with his team, are seasoned professionals. Not only that, he is also a grandfather and a great-grandfather. Of course, he's a dad, and he's a girl dad. I think he told us we're going to find out. But we're going to bring him up. Everybody say good morning to Mr. James Tatum. Good morning. I think you're on mute. Just unmute.
Yes, he's on mute. He's on mute.
Of course, I'd mess that up. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
You are doing absolutely great. We are excited to have you here today, sir. When we said who we gonna have on this week for Father's Week, when we talking about financial literacy, we said we gotta have Mr. Tatum in. Thank you for saying yes to us, sir. It's been a great morning, but we gotta ask you, what is in your cup? What gets you started?
I've got some black coffee, Tracie, and I remember you saying something about black coffee.
Yes. Black coffee matters. Black coffee is the way I love my men, and I tell everybody that don't play when it comes to me and my husband. It's gonna be a black man in my house.
Well, you know what? I love it, Tracie. And every time you say that, I always get a good little kick out of that. Mr. Tatum, talk to us about why you chose to help women as a focus in their finances.
Well, I had a number of very talented and smart women working for me when I was in my career at UPS. And they were very fabulous women. They worked very hard. And they tried to do the job the best that they could. But when something happened in their lives, be it death or divorce or some financial issue, it had a great impact on the way they performed their job and also the way they really performed their life. And the main reason was because they did not have the knowledge and understanding of how money really worked. And when I saw how that panned out in my own family and my own daughters and all, I decided to focus my attention primarily on trying to help women become more knowledgeable and educated about how money really works and how that knowledge could help them as far as planning their future.
It's so interesting that you say that, because oftentimes we, our society has shifted, and the role has always been on the man, and but now we have so many women out here where we're balancing this thing out, and we need someone that we can trust. Talk to us about that legacy of making sure that when you talk to the women, they say women are the backbone, but we have the balance of both. When you bring people to the table with a small business, Is there a certain time that you should have a financial advisor? At what point do you say, I need someone to talk me through this?
Well, let me put some context around this whole thing. You know, each and every one of us, we have a balance sheet, and we have our assets, the things that we own, and our liabilities, things that we owe. And when you subtract the two, you come up with your net worth.
Yes.
Well, each and every one of us, we're trying to grow that net worth as big as we can. So when our income stops, the net worth will take over. Well, along the way, there's a couple of pieces that need to be considered. Your income, which is your greatest asset, and your protection. And a lot of times we don't place as much emphasis on protection as we should. And what I'd like to do, Tracy, let me ask a couple of questions. Do we know how much liability coverage we have on our automobile and our home?
Yes.
You know, in the event that we would get sued for $500,000, would our insurance cover our assets, or would we end up having to give away our assets?
Wow.
Same way with disability. What if you became disabled tomorrow and couldn't work anymore? What would happen? Do you have enough resources and enough income to keep up with your expenses? And do we have a will or trust or power of attorney? Do we have those things in place? And one of the key factors, what about life insurance? You know, do we have enough life insurance in place to take care of our family in the event something would happen to us? And, you know, we, no matter what, we should ensure our insurability because we never know when it could go away. But those are just a few things that women, and we really don't understand how it impacts our entire life.
Yes.
And so I advocate for women and wealth. And
women and wealth. I love those two words together, women and wealth. You know, speaking of wealth, a lot of people get a little fearful when it's time for retirement because they realize they might outlive their money. Yeah. Talk to us about how people should concentrate on not only while they're working, because we're thinking we're working, we're making money, I'm getting a check every week. How does that look when you get into retirement?
Well, let me just back up a little bit. Before you even get into retirement, you need to have a strategy and a plan in place to make sure that it's going in the right direction for you as you get to that retirement part. You know, it's like going up a mountain. As you go up that mountain, you're trying to accumulate your wealth. But when you come down the mountain, you're going to be distributing your wealth. And you're doing all of this at a certain rate of return, and you want to make sure you have the right products and the right tools in place. So when you go down that mountain, yes, you will know exactly what you've got in place that's going to take care of you for the rest of your life. Women, you're living longer than men, yes, so you definitely have to have some very solid plans in place. And you got to make sure that there's not a lot of unnecessary transferring of your wealth as you're going up and down the mountain.
Yes.
And,
wow. Yeah. You know, I know that everybody, we're here today. We're celebrating Father's Week. And of course, everybody knows that you're awesome father. But tell us, you don't just have two sons. You also have how many daughters? I think everybody was talking about this.
Well, of course, I have 5 beautiful children, 2 of my sons, and 3 beautiful daughters, and 1 beautiful granddaughter.
Oh.
So recently we talked about being a father to, you know, as women, we keep asking the dads this go round. We know what it's like to raise sons, and everybody has spoke to the importance of having a father in their life. How was it raising daughters?
Well, I needed a lot of help from their mothers, I can tell you that. But I'm so glad that I was a part of raising, you know, 3 beautiful, bright, and thoughtful, and very curious. Believe me, daughters were very, very curious. They're very challenging, and they're very creative, and they're very confident. And even coming up, they were very confident. So it was a lot of fun. Oftentimes, a few challenges, but always it was a joy.
Awesome.
You know, just to be around them and just to see who they were wanting to be, and how confident and they were of getting there.
You know, I always want to ask the dads, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
You know, that's a good question. I think as I look back, I definitely would want to spend more time with my family, because I feel that, you know, we get a lot of noise coming from outside of our familyhood or our families, and a lot of it's not always good for us, and it doesn't always direct us in the right direction. But I think spending more time with your family, you get more of the right noise than not.
Yes.
And I would also tell them to be a servant, because, you know, it's really when we are a servant, otherwise, when you try and help people to get what they want, you will always get what you want.
Wow. You're so right. You're so right. You know, the one thing that stood out that when we were looking at your bio, you stated that the other accomplishment that you have is that you are a great grandfather. And so that gives you that time to be able to, you know, kind of start over, and you don't even have to tell them what to do. You just let them do whatever they want to do. How has that experience been for you, being a great grandfather?
You know, it's in my mind, it's the most precious and beautiful thing that I could ever have in my life. And I look back, I've got 4 generations. You know, it's just amazing. Unfortunately, my great-grandson is in Boston, Massachusetts. You know, it's away, so my communication is not nearly as much.
Look at that.
But the love is still there. And the one thing I know, that he has a fabulous dad that is there with him and raising him. And, you know, I feel so good and comfortable about that.
You know, it's something about the legacy of having wonderful men in our lives. And that's something that we'll all take with us, as well as having someone who says, and I am invested in the women in the community and their financial ability to take control. Again, you know, the reason why we connect is because I think it's important for even our college students to see the value of LinkedIn and connections. Tell everybody how they can find you. What's your website, and how can they get your information?
Well, my website is jamestatumfinancial.com, and all the communication is on my website. I have a Calendly that's on there.
Okay.
My phone number and my email address is on there. I do plan to have a couple of seminars coming up. One is going to be on Social Security, and one is going to be on wealth building. The dates that yet to be determined. I'm working with the 100 Black men to try to get something within the community. So we're trying to work that out. But that's my information. That's my website.
Well, everyone needs to reach out to Mr. Tatum if you have any questions, especially us ladies, because he specializes in women and wealth. Before we let you go, please tell us your affirmation word.
I've already spoken. It's servant.
Wow.
It's servant. You know, once again, if you help other people get what they want, you'll always get what you want.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, we thank you for always serving our community. We can't wait to find out when you connect with 100 Black men. Please let us know so we can put that information out in the community. You have every time that I see it in a community event, I'm telling y'all, when it focuses on women and wealth, we talk about freedom, period. Mr. Tatum is there, very professional. And I just thank you for saying yes to us today. Have a happy Father's Day, and continue to be a servant to our community.
Thank you all so much for having me, and happy Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers out there.
Wow. Yes. Oh my gosh. See, that's what it's about, Lady O. When we know that we can serve our community and we can make it happen, that's it. That's it.
Yes, indeed.
You know,
yes, indeed.
We're going to keep doing it. And there's so many ways to serve. There's so many ways to allow history to be known. We say mental, physical, spiritual, financial, but you know what? There's also history in knowing your history. And our next guest, he's an amazing man, father, artist. His name is William Burton. He's one of the most versatile visual artists from St. Louis, working in a variety of different mediums. He specializes in murals and canvas paintings and pyrography and illustrations, airbrushing. Graduated from my alma mater, look, my visual performing arts high school right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Has received scholarships to a variety of different universities. But this brother has also instructed youth art programs, collaborated with a variety of different community organizations to make sure that community is above all most important. And we're going to bring him up to talk about it. Everybody welcome William Burton Jr. Good morning, sir. Thanks for hanging in here with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Good morning. So, I'm going to ask, because you've been in the waiting room, what's getting you started this morning? What do you have in your cup?
A cup of Jabo.
A cup of Java. I love it. I love it. Get those artistic vibe flowing so you can do what you do. Talk to us about what you do. Talk to us about your artwork.
Well, I'm an artist, God-given gift, and my art is about our people and the struggle and the perseverance and the triumphs of an oppressed people. And because I'm a Black man, I paint from the perspective of a Black man. However, my art speaks to all oppressed people all over the world. However, because I'm Black, I can only speak from that point of view.
Wow. You do so many different types of forms of art. Is there a favorite form that you specialize in?
Well, I started out, my main medium is paint, acrylic paint. However, for the past 12, 13 or so years, I've been doing a medium called pyrography, which is a Greek term for writing in fire. And so what I do is I scorch or burn images into wood.
Wow. Now, when that happens, what's the process? How long does that take?
Well, it varies. It depends on the subject matter, the inspiration, the motivation behind it, things of that nature. But, there's been times I've created a wood burn piece within a matter of hours, and then there's some that have taken 2-3 months. So it varies.
Well, and you're actually working with fire. You're actually working with fire and actually burning the wood. So you don't have to know how to hold it to where you want it to be a dark space or more. I don't know if it's the term more burn, but that is interesting how you're able to define the faces. It's amazing work.
Yeah, it is.
And the thing is one thing about being an artist, because, there are so many artists in the world. One of the things, just like music, we try to find something that distinguishes us from other artists. And so I kind of stumbled across this pyrography medium while shopping for art supplies years ago. And I saw this little tool, wood burner, and looked on the back and saw what it did. And so I decided to, let me purchase one and see what I could do with it. And on my first piece, the burning of the wood brought back a little nostalgia from my childhood. I was a little pyromaniac when I was a little boy. So I grew up in Bluemeyer housing projects, and across the street from us was a fire station, rather.
Wow.
And I used to be intrigued by the fire trucks coming out with the lights blaring and the sirens going and everything, so much that I would get up from the dinner table and run outside so I could see the fire truck going around. And so it got to the point where the fire truck wasn't coming out as often as I wanted to see. So I
No, we're
started
gonna let that be. We're gonna let that be.
come out.
You know, you also have created murals as well. And oftentimes when you show your work, people are often saying that they feel like the person has a message, like if that person could talk. Talk to us about how you capture a person's spirit. That's definitely a gift.
Well, you know, this old saying is eyes are the windows to the soul.
Yes.
And one of the things that I've always taught when I do art or I teach art is if you're trying to paint portraits, the most important part of the portrait is the eyes. If you can capture the eyes, then you've captured the essence of the person, because in the eyes tells the story. And so I use various motivation or inspiration, like photographs and things of that nature, or stories, to give me to be a muse for some of my work. And because I found that a lot of times people don't want to pose for a painting or sit long enough for a painting. So, you know, photographs are sometimes just my constant observation of people, you know, become my motivation or my muse. And so I try to zoom in on the eyes of an individual, because in the eyes tells the story.
Oh my goodness, that picture you just showed, Tracie, those eyes were intense.
Yes, they were. They were. Do you feel that with you doing canvases and different things, you know, we're talking about this, you have actually done some work. This is Father's Day. All of your children have gifts and talents in the arts. Do you think it's because of them watching you and your wife? How did that come about?
Well, I think because they've been, you know, my children have always been close, very close to me in every aspect of my life. My whole life is centered around my family. I'm a family-oriented man. When my wife became pregnant with our first child, I didn't want my children to grow up in a house that was destitute of both parents, because that's so commonplace now. And I come from a good family structure, and I wanted my children to belong to the same thing. But my children have always watched me create art. They watched me produce it. And I always wanted them to have a sense of ownership and culture and creativity and imagination to help build their own character. Now, my oldest son, he's a graffiti artist. He's never created under my shadow, and I've always taught all my children as individuals to you know, create their own path. You know, I can be the model, but they have to pursue their own way. You know, so I'm just a beacon and an example to what they should be, or how they should follow their dreams. So, and then my 17-year-old son, he's the trifecta of the family. He's an artist, he's a musician, and he's an actor.
Wow.
My daughter is a creative writer. And then my youngest son, he's just all over the place. He hasn't really found his niche yet. So he's all of them.
The late bloomer. You know, speaking of being the late bloomer, Yolanda asked that question earlier to Mr. Tatum. What would you tell your 18-year-old self? I think that's an important question in today's world for those who don't have dads that empower them. What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Be true to self and follow your dreams, and stay true. Regardless of what influences are around you, because I know today, you know, it's a different world from what we grew up in. And today's youth are bombarded from in every turn with negativity, you know. So my thing is to, you know, stay positive, stay encouraged, keep the faith, and move forward.
Right. You know, that's it. You know, I just like to say I've been knowing Bill Burton since we grew up together, and he's always known his gifts. I think those gifts come early on, and when you find them, you just have to stick to them and nurture them. And then the biggest piece about you is even with the 14th Street, the different things that you do in the community, you've always given back and wanted to empower our youth. So we thank you for that. They always say, like, we don't put enough value on the arts, but your art has history. Yeah. And it's a legacy that will be here forever. So we thank you for your murals, your canvases, and all that you have gifted to our community, you, your wife, and your children. Tell us your affirmation word of the day, brother.
Faith.
Yes.
Keep the faith.
That's what's up.
Because, we get bombarded with life, everyday trials and tribulations of life. And sometimes those trials and tribulations can knock us down to the point, falling is no bad thing, but we have to get up, dust ourselves off, and keep moving. Yes, failure is not falling. Failure is to lay down and not to get back up and keep fighting. We all fall. That's part of life. But life's lessons allows us to get up and keep moving, pushing forward. So my word of affirmation is faith. Keep pushing forward and have faith that, change will come. Things get better. There's always the calm before, there's always a storm, and then there's a bright new day. Yes. But we have to keep fighting.
Well, we thank you for it. And we thank you for using your art to make that message, put that message out there. Alex says, that's deep, brother. Yeah, he go there, Alex. How can everybody find your work? Let everybody know.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, William Burton Jr., Instagram, official William Burton Jr. Page. My website is www.undergroundart.weebly.com. You can pull up my artwork on my Facebook page under my uploads, or I'm not sure just go through my photos.
Yes. Right. Go straight to William Burton, and we'll put that information in the chat as well. You know what? Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for sticking in here with us. And we hope to see you in the community soon. Definitely.
Yeah. I'm out here. So most high willing, as long as I have breath in my body, I'm in the community.
Thank you so much. That's it. Thank you. Whoa, my goodness. He brought it, didn't he? Yes. He really did. He let us know that there's a way that we can all use our voice and use our arts, our skills. I wish I had, you know what? I'm glad that I have the skills that I have.
Absolutely.
He definitely brings those skills to the table, and he's a deep brother. His
artwork is amazing. I'm going to go back and take some time to look at several pieces. He's right. The eyes are the window to the soul. And speaking of an artist, who do we have but our very own Justice Key? Good morning.
Good morning. Justice, I just want to say thanks for sticking in here with us. All of our owners, you all make sure that you all share. This is going to be out there for a minute. We have went extended because we really wanted to get the messages out there. Everything that, we will get Rance on again next week, I'm sure. But what Chief David Byrd stated to us, these are jewels, these are things that we need to know in our community that keeps us alive and well. And the fact that he said this is something he wanted to do when he was a little boy, and he stuck to that tenacity is real. Yes. Listen to Mr. Tatum talk about financial wealth. We got to know we're an asset and not a debit, yes, which means that we are credit to one another. And then William, literally, he's like, look, y'all, this is what art is. Art is being true to yourself and making sure that you try out different new things. And then here we end with Peace in the Streets with Justice Key. Justice, you a daddy's girl. You are the daddy's girl. Talk to us.
I am. My dad, he had me, him and my mom had me at 20 years old. And my dad used to always tell me that he was, trying to have more kids. And my dad wanted a boy so bad. So my mom tells this story about how he brought boy clothes up to the hospital when I was born. Even though he knew I was a girl, he still brought boy clothes up to the hospital. My daddy was so adamant about having a boy. But me and my dad are best friends. I'm his only child. And you know, he did his thing, raising me, working hard, and I really just, you know, I really appreciate that man. Not only do I appreciate that man, I appreciate all the men in our community, because we need men like that, like women, girls, boys, men. We need men in our community that's giving us, you know, stability and values, and you know, tapping in with the conversations, of asking how we're doing and listening. My dad, he is just my unconditional lover. My dad is going to listen. My dad used to listen to my poetry. I remember my dad used to get off work at 7 a.m. in the morning. And I'll be like, Daddy, I got this new poetry piece. And he'll sit, even though he was tired, my dad would sit and listen. Oh. And, you know, still to this day, he'll ask me, like, you got a poetry piece for me? So this poetry piece, Daddy, I dedicate to you. I love you so much. Shout out to my pops for always being a real one. I'm talking about stories way back, just when he was somebody's big brother or playing in the yard as somebody's grandson. Always working hard and getting things done, raising a queen like me. He'll say, girl, stop crying. He never let me trip off the small things. He was a father figure to many. He taught me lessons of loyalty. No matter what the next person do, never let it confuse you with your character or how you move. And I never seen you break even when you needed to. Talk about understanding the assignment. You always did what you had to do. And you've been my protector, and I'll always be the same for you. A heart of gold. I'm thankful for the unconditional love shown. Your strength and tenacity speak volumes beyond measure. Never had to look for gold at the end of the rainbow, because he always made sure I knew that I was the treasure. And everybody looks for a hero to instill in them stability and values. In the community, we appreciate men just like you. So catch a vibe with me and free your mind with me. I'm your girl, Justice Key, with Peace in the Streets.
Peace in the streets. We got to snap it up for Justice Key. Girl, you brought it, and your dad is proud of you. We're proud of you, and happy Father's Day to all the dads, especially your dad, but happy Father's Day. You know, you rock. Alex said you rock. Everybody, Justice, that is heartfelt. Yes.
Thank you all. But yeah, happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the world. Granddads, uncles, mentors, your big homies from up the street, whoever you got. Like, happy Father's Day to y'all. Shout out to y'all for making the community stand strong, because we need strong men in our community.
Yes, we do. I want everybody to drop their affirmation words. Give us a few if you have some. You know, Lady O, one of the things we used to say in Sister Keeper when it came to justice, that her name meant justice, because we need balance in the world. But the first thing was, before she became a Sister Keeper, she used to say justice was just us, her and her dad. And that's really critical. You know, my dad, you know, is a girl dad also. I have all girl siblings, and I want to say happy Father's Day to my dad as well. The one thing that he taught me was education is everything. And if you don't have that paper, you know that you got to get that sheepskin. You got to make sure that you go all the way through. So he taught me the value of education and how important it was for me to break the cycle. Justice said it, you know, her parents were very young. My parents were all 15 when they had me. So that was a very big struggle for me to, you know, to be raised by my mom and see my parents figure out what being adulting looked like. But at the end of the day, they did the best that they could. And look, here I am.
It's like we grew up together. Like, even though our parents had us young, like, we watched, and that's why I say y'all forgive y'all parents, because they were learning too, you know. And as long as somebody is trying to correct it and make it right, it's okay to open up and forgive. Forgive your parents. They were young, they were learning. We were all growing up together. So yeah. So my affirmation word today is forgiveness. Forgiveness.
Woo, girl.
Say it, Justice.
All right now, Justice, don't make me cry.
I know.
I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry, but anytime that I said, you just frustrating me. You know, you are so right. We're all here living this life, trying to do this life for the first time in our life. Yes. So we have to realize that we all are no one's perfect. No one's perfect. Yes. You know, I also cannot go without saying Happy Father's Day to my husband, who is like the greatest dad of all times, my father-in-law, Barklin McGee, and Odell Stooks, as well as my first husband, Gregory Grant, who is also an amazing father. You know, I just know for a fact that even if you don't have a dad in your life, there's a lot of great men out here that are willing to step in and make sure that they take care of their responsibilities. Joan says, miss my dad. Happy Father's Day. Naylene says, shout out to her husband, her son, and her brothers. Michael Whitley, he posted pictures every single day of the month. And so we're going to shout him out as well. Lady O, tell us your affirmation word for today.
My affirmation word for today is beacon. Be the beacon, be the light. Whether your light is dim or bright, just shine it and go along the journey. You know, I have to shout out my daddy, who I look just like. I want to shout out my dad, Bill Moore Sr. in California. They call him Wild Bill, but I call him my daddy. And this smile you see, this personality that you hear, it is all my daddy. And I am so thankful that I was raised by a hardworking man. Everyone knows I'm a farmer's daughter. My daddy would get up at the crack of dawn to milk cows so that I could have the things that he wanted me to have, and most of the things I wanted. And I'm just so thankful that he invested in me. I want to also give a shout out to my big brother, William Moore Jr. I call him Noonie. Happy Father's Day. My Uncle John, my Uncle Clyde, my Uncle Grover. Hey, y'all. Happy Father's Day from your girl, Nene.
Well, you know what? I think that Chief David
Bird, hold on, Tracie.
He talked about having a blended family and bringing everybody together. And I know that's something that you all do in your household.
Yes, I was about to say, and how could I forget my guy? Happy Father's Day, Ozzy. Thank you for being the guide to this blended family. I always say we're like the Black Brady Bunch. And I'm so thankful for him for all that he does to make sure we have all that we need.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know what? We had an extended day and I loved it. I think that it was important that we took our time. If you all see any man out here loving on their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, oh my gosh, it's a pleasure to be able to see them, tell them Happy Father's Day. As we wrap up with our Own Your Now flow, we need to understand, like he said earlier today, the value of belonging. We all need that and we all want that and we all desire that. Everybody wants to be seen and heard and listened to. But at the end of the day, anything that you do it with integrity and understand that when you are a servant to yourself and your community and all the things that we have to offer to each other, that's what that faith walk looks like. So understand that even if there are points where you're struggling with your passion and your purpose and your progress, have a little bit of forgiveness towards yourself and say, I'm sorry for the things that I've done to myself or to others, and understand that there's gratitude in knowing that there's serenity and peace in being appreciative of yourself and your community. And you know what? If at times you feel like you're at your deepest low or even at your deepest height, find that beacon and that light and stay motivated and realize that you need to just trust your truth. And when you trust your truth, you will understand that there's a light in everything that we do. Celebrate. This is Jubilee, Freedom Friday. It's Juneteenth Day. Grab somebody and tell them Happy Father's Day. And if, in fact, you all decide to go outside, we tell everybody, please, please, please be safe. Wear a mask. It's your choice if you want to wear it or not. But if you decide, you know what, I'm not going to go outside. I'm going to stay inside. And I'm going to shelter in place. You know what we tell everybody? Keep sipping, and we'll see you all same time and same space on the Own Your Now show. Goodbye, everybody.